Hello everyone, my name is Blue Raven 666, and today we're going to be exploring the possibility of children being sent to hell in the Hazbin universe. Before I begin, I think I should probably elaborate what exactly I mean when I say child. To me, a child is any individual that is under the age of 16. You're 15 years old? Congrats, but you're still a kid in my book. Half a second away from turning 16? Still a kid. The only exception I make to this rule is if you're 16 or older and still throw tantrums if something doesn't go your way. My Discord mods will know exactly what I'm talking about with this one. But for the sake of this video, we'll just be focusing on children that are 12 years old and younger. You've probably heard someone say this at least once in your life. Children are very impressionable. That's because up until a certain age, what a child sees as being right or wrong is strongly influenced by the things they're exposed to. Parents, guardians, teachers, classmates, siblings, friends, all of these people will play some kind of role in influencing a growing child. It is the responsibility of the adults in a child's life to show them what is and isn't considered to be acceptable behavior early on, so clear boundaries are established. However, there is still the whole nature versus nurture debate that is still being discussed, which looks into whether or not human behavior is influenced by a person's environment or their genetics. If we look into the backgrounds of some of the most infamous serial killers like Richard Ramirez, Jeffrey Dahmer, Ted Bundy, Albert Fish, who all came from broken and neglectful households or suffered some form of trauma early on in life, we can see that those events got the ball rolling into the monsters they'd become later on. However, there have been some individuals that came from whole and happy homes and childhoods who have committed equally as evil acts. I personally think that given how impressionable kids can be, external forces are usually at fault. So my vote will have to go towards nurture. Why do some kids wear skimpy clothing, twerk, and want to have sex at age 12? Well, because the people around them probably taught them that that's what's socially acceptable. Why do some elementary kids have such uncontrollable potty mouths? Probably because mommy, daddy, or their siblings or friends have uncontrollable potty mouths as well. Yeah, my vote definitely has to go towards nurture. Now, Hazbin Hotel doesn't really give us any examples of children in the show. Nifty doesn't count because she died in her 20s, the same age as Vaggie. However, we are given an example of a child from the same universe as Hazbin Hotel, and he's the perfect example of a human that would fit right in with the denizens of hell. Little Eddie from Hell of a Boss. This kid makes me angry. He was so bad that somebody, I'm assuming it was his mother, called IMP to get rid of him. You can't say that you guys weren't at least a little bit satisfied when Blitz shot him with that fucking hear ye pistol. Seriously, this kid desperately needed somebody to pull him over their knee and spank him so he wouldn't be able to sit for a week. While it isn't clear what exactly happened to Eddie's soul, I'm pretty sure it's safe to assume that he ended up taking up a permanent residency inside of hell. Although he looks like he could have been anywhere between the ages of 8 and 12, I think we can all agree that this little shit doesn't belong in heaven. When imps think that you're a piece of shit, you're probably a piece of shit. Even if little Eddie would have lived to reach adulthood, I doubt anything would have changed. He most likely would have grown up to be someone that was physically and or verbally abusive to everyone around him. So suck it, Eddie. Nobody liked you anyways. So, can children be sent to hell? Well, I'm pretty sure all of you guessed that my answer here would be yes. But how far gone does a child have to be in order to get to that point? Well, if they're anything like little Eddie, then yeah, they're probably too far gone. If they're killing and dissecting animals like Jeffrey Dahmer did, they're most likely not taking up an interest in anatomy. If they're idolizing someone beating and murdering people like Richard Ramirez did, You you probably want to look into that. That's not a healthy obsession a child should be having. If they're standing over your bed and placing kitchen knives around you as you sleep while smiling like Ted Bundy did, call a freaking priest. It is an unfortunate thing when a child passes away, and one thing that I neglected to mention with my real life examples is that at one point or another, they tried to change for the better and stop things before they became worse, but they couldn't resist their killer tendencies. If a child is too far gone with any sort of sin, regardless of age, then I'm almost positive they'll be sent to hell. However, if they're given a chance to grow into adulthood and have someone to guide them in the right direction, then maybe it's not too late for them after all. That's all I have for this video, you guys. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video from me, let me know in the comments, as well as any topics you'd like me to cover in future videos. My name is BlueRaven666, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye!